Today's a good day. Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. Hope you're having a great day today. And we got some good sunshine and the weather's nice. It's gonna be 70 degrees today. And I'm gonna start working on my turf out here. All the products you see me using and talking about in this video, they'll be linked up in the description below so you can check them out if you want to. This is my Tough Bermuda out here at my shop. I'm making 3 separate applications today, trying to achieve 3 different goals, and I'll walk you through those and tell you what they are. If you're new to lawn care and you're interested in having a really nice yard, I got lawn care guides for Bermuda, fescue, bluegrass, rye. They're all in the description below as well. It's everything you need to know to help you have a really nice yard. So the first thing going down is a pre-emergent prodiamine, and this is going to help to limit weeds in the future. This is a cyclone and my air induction fan nozzle that comes in the Nozzle Buddy pack. I'm able to cover this 7,000 square foot area with 4 gallons of finished solution, so it's pretty efficient. Now the pre-emergent is going to create a barrier on the ground once this gets washed into the ground by rainfall. It's supposed to rain a little bit tomorrow and then a little bit the next day, so I don't have to actually physically come out here and water it in. Once that gets watered in, I'll have a barrier to protect against some weeds, mainly crabgrass. That's the main one I'm going after. A lot of people get confused and they say pre-emergent and they automatically think that it's going to stop every single weed known to man. That is false. That is a lie, because it does not do that. If you read the label on the jug, it only states certain weeds that it controls. Obviously, as we get into the summer deeper, the barrier will begin to break down and you could potentially see some breakthrough, and then you would actually need to do a post-emergent weed control, which would be a spray for when you physically see the weed, you apply the post-emergent, take it out. And whew, I can tell I hadn't done this in a while because I am out of shape. So that's the pre-emergent portion that I am blanket spraying the entire thing. If you noticed, I skipped the section in the middle. This entire yard is 100% Tough Bermuda. The section on the far right you saw me spray first, that's actually dormant Bermuda. That's typically how the Bermuda would look this time of the year in February. The section in the center that's a little bit lighter green, that has actually been overseeded with ryegrass. A neglected ryegrass is what I'm going to call that, because I've really neglected that over the winter. That's why it looks so pathetic. But we're going to fix that today. And obviously the section I'm standing on now that's really dark green, this has been painted. So I'm doing a little experiment here, and we'll talk about that in a different video. So if you noticed, I sprayed this side over here and I sprayed the dark green painted side over there, but I didn't spray this side because, yes, it needs pre-emergent put on it. I'm not going to neglect that. Even though it's overseeded with rye, I'm still going to put pre-emergent down, but I want to save a little time. So I did that side. I did that side with pre-emergent only. That dormant Bermuda doesn't need any nutrition right now. This ryegrass does need some nutrition. As you can look at it and tell, it's very weak and very, it's just not typical for me. But I've been busy, okay? But we're gonna wake this bad boy up today, and I went in and sprayed the right, sprayed the left. I'm going to go back in, add my nutrient, which is going to be the 505. I'm going to do a pretty heavy shot of 505. That way I can get some nitrogen and potassium in the plant, and I'm probably going to add a little bit of iron to that as well. help darken this up. So this is going to be what I call a foliar application. Even though it's a high rate of 505, it's still a low rate of N and K and iron. So I'm going to do that, get the ryegrass jumping by sometime next week. If temperatures stay good, this will look totally completely different. So I'm actually got a prototype spray gun I've been building for you guys that's going to integrate flawlessly with the Flow Zone sprayers, and I'm going to try it out today. It's a tip I'm using that is specifically for foliar applications, so I'm excited to try that out. I haven't really figured out what I'm going to name it yet. It's a pro style spray gun, but I'm making it for the DIY folks, so we'll call it a DIY pro spray gun. I don't know. We'll come up with some kind of fancy name for it or whatever, and we'll call it, we'll call it whatever we want to call it. Oh boy, you're gonna like this. You can see it gets the wand out a little bit further away from me, covering about the same swath as I was with the fan tip a second ago. I'm telling you, the nozzle buddy will make you really efficient and save you a ton of time in spraying. And as y'all know, I'm kind of clearing out space. Oh, on the space, I don't have much Greene County left, okay? The 1 gallon singles and the 2.5 gallon singles, not any packs or anything like that. All that's still on sale. Now we are gonna keep the Greene County line. We're just gonna move it down to South Carolina to the other warehouse. So if you're a fan, right now is the time to get that. Why, it's as cheap as you'll ever see it. But as I was saying, we're clearing out warehouse space to set up some manufacturing assembly, lines or setups or whatever you want to call it. And all these kind of little gadgets and things like this we're going to be making to make your spray experience a lot better or a lot easier. All right, so now I've got my pre-emergent applied, and then I've got my nutrient applied to the ryegrass, so I'm good with that. Obviously the pre-emergent doesn't apply to just Bermuda, it applies to all turf types. You apply that in the early spring. I typically do a split application to maximize my length of control. You can see right here along this edge of this dormant Bermuda, when I overseeded the rye, I got some ryegrass seed kind of jumped over. Is what it is. I want this cleaned up, and I'm going to use Roundup to do that. The Bermuda is 100% dormant, so it's going to have zero effect on the Bermuda. I'll link up a write-up from NC State where they actually use some light applications on Bermuda where the turf had already began to wake up. Of course, that's going to stunt it a little bit, but it pops right back. Bermuda is just hardcore like that. The point of using the Roundup versus any other post-emergent herbicide is you get total cleanup, okay? Anything out here, I got rye right here, I got some dandelions over there, I've got a little bit of Poa annua along the roadside, and the Roundup is non-selective, meaning it doesn't get to pick and choose what it kills. If you get it on the foliage of the plant, it's going to kill it. So I want a nice, tight, clean, straight line right here. So I've got another prototype of another attachment that I have been building and putting together, and it's specifically for spraying edges. So if you had a yard, and let's say this is your flower bed and this is your grass, and you wanted to spray the edge and you wanted to kill the weed or the grass growing in the flower bed, but you didn't want the Roundup to get on your grass, that's what this attachment is going to be able to do. Baseball fields. This is game-changing stuff for you guys, because the Bermuda likes to creep over into the infield, right? And it's hateful and aggravating trying to pick that mess out or spraying, and then it gets a little bit out in your turf and it leaves these dead spots. You remember that happened along that edge last year right there to me. So I'm the solution guy. I can't stand it if I can't figure out a solution to eradicate the screw up. So I've been working really hard on that. I got some more parts coming. This is just the phase 1 of the prototype. But I've got some more parts coming to add to it that's going to make it even safer to use, because at the end of the day, when I put something out there, I need it to be 100% foolproof, 100% safe for anybody to use it, and it just, the equipment does not fail. You know that if I put my name on something, it's going to be as close to perfect or as perfect as it can get. So what I'm going to do is come down here with it, and I'm going to edge this out, and then I'm going to jump over there. Got a little touch of rye that, you know, got in my painted Bermuda. And of course, the reason for the edge again is, yeah, I can take a fan tip and backpack sprayer and hold it down really tight, but I don't want any imperfection here. I want a dead straight, clean, perfect line. And the only way I can do that is with this attachment that I got, and make sure it works. You know, this is all kind of part of the testing on the things I create, is I want to make sure it's absolutely perfect before I put it out there. And then I'm going to go down the edge of the road, get some of that POA. The guys did a phenomenal job yesterday at putting all the pine needles out. So the weeds are good to go in the bed, so it's just some weeds in the grass. And yeah, like I said, we're going to use Roundup to do that, and we can get the yard 100% spotless clean. Here is your disclaimer. You cannot do this with cool season turf, period. Roundup is non-selective. It will kill your fescue or your bluegrass or your ryegrass if you put it on it. Do not do it. I don't know how to be more clear than that. And the only reason I try to be over the top with that, it's my job to, when I'm trying to help educate, is I have to go over the top with some of my language, okay? So that's mainly for the new folks. Some of you guys that's been around for a long time, you get it. Bear with me. You understand. You know what I'm talking about. Dormant Bermuda, yes, on Roundup. Any other grass that's green, you spray it on it, you're going to kill it. Obviously, I wouldn't do this in the middle of the summer when the Bermuda is green and growing, because if you did, it's going to set your Bermuda back. Yeah, the Bermuda will come back, but you just don't want a big brown spot in the time being. You know what I mean? Like I said, I got to test it out, make sure it's going to work right, and do what I claim it's going to do. Once that happens, we'll start producing them and put them on the website. Woohoo! All right, well, so far so good. I like that. That gave me a nice clean line there. I can see the glistening from the adjuvant. I've got the O2 YS adjuvant here, and yeah, I use that as well on my foliar application on the ryegrass. Absolutely, anytime I do a foliar, I'm going to put the adjuvant in the tank. Now, the real test is going to be when I take this bad boy to my house, and I've got that really thick, lush fescue and that really nice Kentucky bluegrass, and I test it out over there at the house. That's really going to tell me if this thing's going to work wonderful or not. All the things I try to build into a piece of equipment, I try to take the user definitely into consideration to make it as easy as possible. So far, I'm liking it. Now, I basically just switched over to a traditional fan tip. I got it on the lowest pressure setting, and I'm just walking around spot spraying each individual little weed that I see, which is not a terrible amount of them out here, which is a good thing. A little bit of Poa annua. See you later. Now here's the trick. When you get it back over here, you got to remember I've already sprayed this edge, so I don't want to step in this and then walk in the rye. And the combination of the adjuvant and the Roundup's going to get on the bottom of my shoe. Then I'm going to step over here and leave a footprint, and it will kill it. Yes, been there, done that. So I'm kind of coming out a little ways from where my first overlap was, going down through here nice and slow. You notice I'm walking on the outside of my spray so that I'm not walking in the Roundup, because I don't want to forget. I don't want to accidentally forget and take off across here, and then, you know, I don't want dead footprints in my rye. Now I'm just going to walk right back up beside where I come down, put the gun in my left hand now, and continue spotting these out. Don't take much. Once you spray it and you see a little bit of glisten to the plant, you're done. Move on. You don't need to drown it. A little bit of material goes a long ways when you're doing it this way. I'm gonna swap hands again, put my spray on the outside of me. Of course, I'm only doing it that way because of the Roundup. I'm not doing it like that with my fertilizer and all that. It doesn't matter with that. I just don't want to get the Roundup on the bottom of my shoe and then walk out here. All right, so that looks pretty good. Probably take this a week or so if we have this kind of weather for the next week or so, and all this should begin to go away. We'll walk right down through here and repeat the same process through here. It's kind of hard to see the ryegrass over here because the paint really camouflages it really well. And yeah, I might actually put me another coat of paint on this. I've been thinking about it, just to kind of darken it up a little bit more. All right, so quick recap. This is Tiv Tuff Bermuda. Oh, what's that? Yeah, my normal. Chef salad with ham, bacon bits, extra cheese, extra ranch. Lunchtime. So as a quick recap, Tiv Tuff Bermuda, the pre-emergent would apply to other turf types like fescue, bluegrass, rye, centipede, St. Augustine, all of them, zoysia. The nutrients would apply to cool season turf, not warm season turf, unless you live down like low in the country where your grass is still green and growing and haven't went dormant. The Roundup applies to Bermuda. Okay, I'm not going to dare recommend you do that to centipede or to zoysia or to St. Augustine, simply because, well, actually zoysia I've done it before, but St. Augustine and centipede I've never done that, so I can't in good conscience recommend you do that, because I don't know what will happen. But I've done it many times on Bermuda. I know exactly what's going to happen. That Roundup is going to smoke everything out here and leave me with a nice clean stand of turf. And again, when the Bermuda starts growing and active and turns green, I'll switch over to post-emergent herbicides that you would use on Bermuda grass. On my sprayer, maybe you didn't notice, but I changed sprayers when I went from my nutrient pre-emergent spray over to my Roundup spray. I get that question a lot. Can you use the same sprayer? My personal opinion is no. I do not do that. I will not do that. I have a dedicated Roundup backpack sprayer. That is the only thing that goes in that backpack sprayer. Okay, yeah, you can triple rinse, yeah, you can clean it, yeah, you can use tank cleaner. You can do all that. That's up to you. It's your yard, it's your grass, it's your Roundup, it's your sprayer. But for me, I keep the two separated 1000% of the time. I never spray my turf with a backpack sprayer that has had Roundup in it, period. So I'm excited to see how my new gadget works out over here. And you know what? After thinking about it a little bit, we can call that the Weed Buddy. Kind of as part of my branding and my line of spray gadgets and equipment and things like that, the things I have on the website and the things that are coming, I always put the word buddy behind it, because at the end of the day, it's your friend, it's your buddy. Your equipment is your friend, because it makes your life so much easier when you have the right equipment to do the job. Just like a friend is gonna make your life easier because they're there to help you, right? So that's kind of where the old GCI blank buddy come from. So we'll call this the Weed Buddy, because it takes out weeds in crucial locations where you don't want to get Roundup on certain areas, and you do want to get it on other areas. And like I said, I've got some more testing I got to do. I got some more parts coming for that, so I can configure it in 2 or 3 different ways to see which way is going to work best. And at the end of the day, I have to make sure the thing's going to be priced well, so people actually buy the thing. So a lot of goes into the development of a new gadget or a new piece of spray equipment, other than just throwing something together and say, here, use this. I just thought about something that might draw a different crowd of folks if I call that the weed buddy. I don't know if I don't think you can smoke anything out of it, but we'll go with that either way. So, hey, I'm going home here in a little bit, gonna get fired up in the yard, in the fescue. Don't forget, check out my lawn care guides. For those of you that are really getting into this and want to learn every single detail about growing turf. I've been in the business, the lawn care company, for 20 years. I've been there, done that. You can pretty much name something in lawn care, and I've probably done it. And I've failed a lot, and I've learned a lot, and I've succeeded a lot. And that's kind of what the YouTube channel is about, is taking everything I've learned and feeding it to you. And it's obviously another side hustle or side business for me as well. So check those things out if you want to. And as always, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch. I'll check you later.